First off, let me get. I'm actually tired of hearing that question because right now we have over $60 million in the box office. And you tell me what part of that remotely look like ticket sales are slow. This isn't the damn Rolling Stones concert. That's the only thing that sells out in seconds. And we're talking about, when we talking about tickets go from $500 to $10,000, that's an expensive ticket. So you have every CEO from every major company. Guys, it takes time for them to plan and get it together. The fact of the matter is that we have over $60 million in the box office right now, which is more than double any other live gate that's ever been done. The fight that they have on the 16th of September next month. Our fight right now, we've got more in the box office right now, double than what they will have. And again, we're not talking, a $2 or $3 million gate. All these record-breaking events and the numbers that are associated with it, all of it because of Floyd Mayweather. A little guy who's soaking wet, 147 pounds. You know what I'm saying? It's broke all these records. That's what's wrong with boxing today. You guys always complaining and looking for shit to complain about when there's nothing there. That's the reason why we can't be innovative. That's what Floyd Mayweather has done differently from anybody else. You know what I'm saying? He's thought outside the box. Someone said to me, something about tickets on sale at Costco. I'm like, we don't have nothing to do with that. But when you think about it, is that a bad thing? Opening this thing up.
It was a funny thing.
Opening this thing up to a housewife in Desmond, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas. Somebody who would normally be able to have access to our fight. Is that a bad thing for it to be accessible in Costco? That's what's wrong with boxing right now. Everyone wants to operate in this little small circle. And that's why this little guy over here at 147 pounds will go over making $1 billion in this fight because he's been able to think outside of the box. Everybody's operating in this little thing. Times change. You got to think outside the box. Having tickets, and again, Ticketmaster chose to do that. And by the way, the largest place where you can go buy anything in the whole entire world.
All right, so there you have it from, Ellerby, who of course we know is part of Mayweather Promotions, a very big time business partner for Floyd Mayweather. I mean, he's one of the smartest guys in all of sports. He's better than Don King. He's better than a lot of these guys in the past. He's the reason why Bob Arum is hurting at times because he's not able to put together the kind of fights because he lost, of course, Floyd Mayweather. And we know that Mayweather went independent, going back to the De La Hoya fight in 2007, which was 10 years ago. It's an amazing thing that he's actually still fighting right now. And what's even more amazing was the fact that a lot of his big fights and his money that he made in his 30s. And that's something that a lot of people don't take into account at the level of just talent and professionalism that he had in order to stay on top. So, I'm pretty much playing that video. As you see, a lot of people talking trash. A lot of people are basically saying that they're not selling. The tickets are not selling. I even saw Colin Cowherd, who a lot of his opinion I do respect when it comes to, the sporting news or, sports talk. He's one of my favorite guys out there. A lot of stuff I agree with him on, And so on this one, I think he was just basically trying to hype it up, saying that they were having problems with the sales. There's no way. At the end of the day, it's going to be sold out. And like he said, the amount of money that's being paid per ticket is ridiculous. You're going to have people that have money. And I'll say this, listen, if I was a millionaire and I had major bread, I would have been bought the tickets. So a lot of different guys are still going to buy tickets. People that have major money leading up to that week, if there's any tickets left, they're going to say, you know what, I don't have anything to do this weekend. Let me just go ahead and go to Vegas. And they're going to just basically put their black card and just basically drop, 30, 50, 100 racks or whatever it is to get some tickets because they can just do that. It's just something they could do. So, this is not for the everyday person to buy. And a lot of the ticket sale is based on an exclusive clientele that's going to see a historic fight. And that's basically who they want. See, when you look at history, that's what they're going to be looking at sometimes. Like, who was at the fight? Oh, man, look, Jay-Z, Beyonce was at the fight. Oh, Tom Brady and Giselle was at the fight. You know, that's just going to look at, oh, the CEO of Tesla was at the fight. They're not going to be looking at your everyday person that was able to go see, was able to take a month's worth of pay and go see, Juan Marquez 3 versus, Manny Pacquiao. That's not who they're going after. That's where they could set the prices as high as they can and have 60 million and still be above what the Canelo Triple G fight is, which is probably going to be the fight of the year. Hopefully it's one of those that goes the distance, and if it does end, it maybe ends in a knockout at the in the latter rounds, 10 through the 12th round. That's going to be the fight probably of the year. Two box office great fighters fighting each other. That's going to be an amazing fight. So no doubt about it, the fight of the year everybody's looking at. I mean, there's been amazing fights already this year so far in boxing, but I mean, it's actually to me been somewhat of a big year for boxing, if you ask me. I think the Anthony Joshua fight was big. I think that this fight is also big just from an entertainment perspective and just a big, perspective of just fighting in general with MMA. And then if you're talking about just the MMA game with, we know with John Bones and Daniel Cormier, like the last couple of months has been crazy. And then September, you're going to get hit with the Triple G Canelo. I think it's a very exciting time if you're someone who's very into combat sports in general. But I think the tickets being slow, it should be expected considering that this is an amazing high price. But the pay-per-views will come in at the last minute. Right now, no one's looking to just drop 100 and just secure it. Why? Because, you don't know if an injury is going to happen. You don't know if something's going to hold it up. So best believe as you get towards that final week, pay-per-view sales should skyrocket for this fight. I think that I think right now with the amount of chatter that's coming from Mayweather and the amount of talking he's been able to do, I think it's going to be very important that if they want to get this fight going to the next level, because he's actually been doing a lot of interviews. I mean, he's been interviews with Independent, of course, with Fight Hype, on YouTube. He's done the Stephen A. Smith interview. I think you need to get a Conor McGregor interview. Maybe it might not be on ESPN, maybe it might be on Fox Sports, but he needs to do an interview over here on this side in America with somebody that's big in sports, a big name in sports, to talk with him about preparing for the fight, about his background, his upbringing. You got to build up his name and story and really get that momentum going. And I think that's going to be critical for them to maximize the money. Because again, this is all about the bag. Like you saw last month, the heist of the century, in sports is this fight. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, man. I'm telling you, it's all a big money grab. And that's what it's going to be at the end of the day. So are you not entertained? And that's what you're going to have to ask yourself at the end of that fight. For myself, I don't got paper like that to just buy a pay-per-view fight. So I will be probably either trying to go catch it at a sports bar or maybe one of my friends' house. I'll be willing to definitely chip in and on a split for it, to probably catch this fight. But I think it's going to be a big fight. I just think right now things are going slow, but best believe the week of, when everybody gets away from the craziness of, being distracted by other things and even by NFL. I think even the NFL coming in with their preseason games, I think is actually going to almost semi-drive excitement of just the time of that weekend of the end of August. You know how August is and going into September. Very excited time for sports fans in general. So I think that momentum and that excitement is going to make people actually say, you know what, I'm going to buy this fight because, they're going to want to have their weekend jam-packed, with the NFL games and stuff like that. So I think that's how it's going to be, man. Let me know what you think, man, about what you think about Ellerby. But Ellerby said, I fully agree with him. That's the reason why Mayweather is going to probably have grossed $1 billion in the fighting game. And nobody else has done it because he's able to understand how to market himself, and even to the haters. And the haters have actually paid him a lot of money. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.